Hey, we're trying something new today. I don't know if it's new forever or it's new for just today, but I just couldn't convince myself to sit down and write a little missive about 3 tips to how to grow your business today, or 3 tips to how to build trust, or here's all the stuff we do every day, real stuff, real business changing work with our clients. In the spirit of trying to do content marketing that lives longer than the day it's written and can be useful and cataloged in the future, and all the rules of best basic good content marketing. You try and write these things and do these things that are somewhat timeless and aren't tied to a moment in time. But I'm just really struck by something. We live in time, not to make it obvious. We live in the moments that we're in. And so there's a reason why a lot of the content marketing that comes at me and comes at you, and maybe the marketing that comes from Nick to you, feels like, oh, this feels a little bit unhinged to the reality that I'm in. And oh, this feels a little bit unhinged to the reality that I'm in. And yeah, because we've all been really badly trained to say things that play the game of content marketing without really saying what we want to say. And I've been doing all this work out there about point of view and helping organizations define their point of view and have a voice that isn't just gamed for for Google, that doesn't give a crap about you anymore and all that kind of stuff. I've been doing a lot of that in the last 6 months to a year, but it's really hard to break those habits. But I think the thing that may break our habits with that is the inundation of the moment we're in. Today's the latest round of tariffs. New tariffs, more threatened tariffs, tariffs back and forth, tariffs. I have tried to avoid with all my being doing political shit. And I don't want to be a political content guy. But economic indicators are going crazy, not in a positive way. Markets are challenged. Who knows how this is going to play out? Maybe it's going to be amazing. But the reality is a lot of noise and a lot of uncertainty. The Semaphore, the media organization, did a word cloud of the words that they're from a CEO meeting that they had. The CEOs were saying, and it's uncertainty, terrifying. And then there's mildly optimistic, right? There's a lot of negativity in that word cloud, and it's the kind of stuff we don't say online because it doesn't sound very, hey, come hire me today or come buy our product. But the reality is, everybody you're talking to is in some way impacted by the current system, current ecosystem, whether worried about the price of eggs or worried about the cost of their supply chain or uncertainty about all of the things. And uncertainty requires a certain kind of leadership. And the kind of leadership that says the world is going to be bigger in the future than it is today. The opportunities are going to be wider. We are going to stake a claim on the future that opens doors for more people. Maybe that's 8 people, maybe that's 20 people, maybe that's 500 people. You don't have to take the city on the hill approach that says everything's going to be great in the long distance future and a new day rises in America. You don't have to be that kind of a leader, but you do have to be the leader that says, by virtue of what we're doing today, there will be better doors to walk through tomorrow. And we invite you to those doors. And here's the path. Here's the way forward. And you can feel it when people say that with integrity and confidence and belief. And I realized that for myself, been so busy trying to say all the right tactical things because people say, Nick, be more tactical. Nick, no, tell us what to do. How do which social media platform should we be on? And these are all perfectly fine questions and I can answer them for you. But at the end of the day, they won't crack the big nut, which is how do we get out of the cycle of disappointing returns of our efforts? We keep trying something, it doesn't work as well. We can try something, it doesn't work as well. There's a law of diminishing returns on this tactical hamster wheel that we're on. And the steepness of those diminishing returns gets worse the more uncertain the environment is. So, this feeling that nothing really works, even though the smiling selfies on LinkedIn say that it does, is going to get worse. That feeling is going to degrade. Does that mean that things are actually getting worse? You don't have to answer that. What you do have to do as a business, as a brand, as a voice, as a leader is say, in the circle that we own, in the space that you can count on us to keep showing up, it's going to get better. And here's how. And here's why. Now, the internal courage that it takes to do that when you yourself have all kinds of doubts, when you yourself didn't close that last piece of business, when you yourself aren't getting the inbound that you thought it is, when you yourself are seeing your traffic go down on your website because Google no longer is interested in sending you leads. When all of these things are impacting you, the amount of courage it takes to show up and say, and yet you can count on us to hold the space. Been a lot of humor about holding space. Some of you have seen that meme online about the women from Wicked holding space for the song lyrics or whatever, but holding space is the fundamental job of a leader. It means there may be total chaos out there. It may be the wildness of the world out there, but in here, you can trust us to hold the line. And inch by inch, millimeter by millimeter, open up space for more people, for more opportunity, for better, so that you as an employee can grow, so that you as a client of ours can experience better and better services, so that you, a prospect of ours, can be invited into a better way of doing the things that your current people aren't doing very well. We are going to hold the line and open up that space. And we aren't going to outsource it to an agent or a bot to do it. We, the humans, are going to hold that line. That's courage. And you're just not seeing that courage anywhere or nearly anywhere. It's all incrementalism. It's all inch by inch and millimeter by millimeter. We're going to steal as much as we can from the ever shrinking pie. And the winners are going to make bigger pies with what they get. And they're going to tell us and each other that you can count on us to make that possible. Now, that may feel like magical thinking. Think about one person who commented on my post, the LinkedIn post that started this conversation this morning. And he recently was like, I don't want any Pollyanna thinking about how much better things are going to get, or Brave New World, or blah, 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 or exciting, beautiful opportunities, or big sky ideas. I just want day by day thing. I get that. I get that. We want to feel validated in the trenches and know that our trench work we're not alone in the trenches. And the yapping talking heads on the internet of do these 7 things and the whole universe will open to you and I'll double your revenue in 28 months and blah, blah, blah. Like that kind of stuff doesn't validate our life in the trenches. But it's one step to validate it and say, yep, what's happening to you in your business, in your life, in the work is real. It's another step to say, and it's not the end of the story. And if we grab each other by the hand, work strategically together, we can build bigger opportunity with better ideas, more clarity, more human centricity. And that work is worth doing. It's worth doing in places that are under massive contraction. It's worth doing on college campuses. It's worth doing in freelancer world. It's worth doing in wealth management firms. It's worth doing in places that are either being told you got to just merge and become a big commoditized conglomerate, or you need to shrink because what you're doing isn't valuable anymore, or you need to lower your price. Like all of these extractive, contractive forces, they don't have to win for you. None of us are big enough to say whether they're going to win broadly. But you're not responsible for broadly. You're responsible for you and the community you live in and the people who said, I trust you. Your employees, clients, your prospects who are saying, I'm willing to trust you. I'm going to open your email. I'm going to read your blogs. I'm going to watch your videos. I'm going to listen to your podcast. Those are the people that you owe something to. And in an extractive environment, it's easy to go, I don't owe anything to anybody. I got to get my own. But if we never owe anything to each other, then we can't build anything worth having. So that's what I want to say to you today. As we're surrounded by news and headlines and arguments about who gets what piece of an increasingly tinier pie, so tiny that we got to go to Mars to solve it, right? That whole logic where it's freaking everywhere, you don't have to live by that logic. You can live by the logic that we can owe something to each other, and that is a good thing. We can take care of each other, and in doing so, make a bigger pie. In our whatever corner you're responsible for. So our takeaway today is, what's your corner? That's the hardest thing in our digital world is we feel like every corner is our corner. We got to be responsible for every possible thing. We got to respond to all of the news. We got to have a feeling about all of the headlines. We have an opinion on things that we know nothing about. We can let all that go and pick your corner that's yours and say, you can trust us, our organization, our firm, our business, our university. We're going to be responsible for this corner. And if you want to join us, it's going to be a hell of a good time. So, my work, if you're interested, is to help people do that, to be the signal in the noise, to find their corner so they stop blending in with all of the boring insanity and start standing out in a way that is uniquely theirs to do. And it's really the only way forward. Your other option is extraction. Your other option is to stand in the shrinking pie and go, how do I get 17.2% instead of 16.7% of a shrinking pie? By my view, that sucks. And we don't have to do it. We still have better options. I hope this video finds you well today. Tried something new. And if you liked it, let me know. If you hated it, let me know. And we'll see you here at the newsletter, on the podcast, all kinds of places. I'll put a few updates in the copy. But other than that, happy Tuesday.